Hello and welcome to the 35th video of the Project Sovereign series. In this video, I'll begin refining the detail of the warp nacelles. There's plenty of work to do, so let's get started. Alright, it's time to finalize the warp nacelles. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to save this as a new version so I can always come back to these as a baseline just in case I really screw things up. Hit the old plus, and here we go. Alright, now revert to editable poly. So this is going to be basically the same pro-Boolean kind of stuff that you've been seeing, but I'm going to show it anyway because, hey, it's warp nacelles, it'll be fun to watch. So unhide all. And you see I've got my blanks here. Just the seams running around the Bussard collectors and these side warp grills too. So just simply do the usual. Start picking. All right. Now convert to editable poly. And I'll start selecting these, and I can extrude them. Again, it's just going to be these seams going around. That'll define this area. So I'll be back and we'll see what the extrusion looks like. Alright, everything's extruded. Now I should note that I had to go around and select everything because these nacelles really aren't symmetrical. They may appear symmetrical, but they're really not. They sort of cant inwards like this. It's very subtle, but it's there. So that means I'm going to have to do everything on both sides. So I can't just do the old symmetry modifier and copy it to the other side. So this is going to take a little bit longer, but it should be worth it. So anyway, I've got these channels selected, and I'll just do an extrude. And let's see, probably negative 0.5. Yeah, negative 0.05. I think is going to be the way to go. And there we have it. So these are these seam lines running along the sides. Let's get a better look at what's going on here. Yep, you can see them running. Nice and subtle. That's the way I like it. So this part's finished. Now it's just time to extrude the other impressions that I've made. Just thought you'd like to see the extrusion of this part, this little sensor strip, I'm calling it right here. Maybe a tuning fork. I'm going to call it the tuning fork. So this is just going to be very basic. I just thought you'd like to see it. So extruding, and I'm going to go maybe even like negative 0.1. Yeah, let's give it a bit more depth. And apply my gray material. There you go. I just love putting little touches on it like this. It starts to make the model come to life, putting all of these details in, and I can sense getting closer to the finish line, so starting to get excited. Now it's time to create these gray swooshes on the sides of the nacelles. And as you recall, I've already cut out the shape. So what I need to do is isolate this, and I need to extrude, or I should say intrude into the nacelle. Now you'll note that I have both sides selected. That's because, again, this is not symmetrical, so I can't just do one side and apply the symmetry modifier. But I'm going to have to do this in stages because it's a little bit complicated. Here, I'll end isolate again so I can show you. There's a grill right here. I don't know if you can make that out, but there's a grill here, and then there's also this gray piece towards the front. So I'm going to have to separate this into different objects. It's not as complicated as it sounds. I'll show you. So I'll isolate, and let me intrude these, which is of course the opposite of extrusion. And I'll do my check, just looking all around. Yep, this looks good to me. Of course, this is supposed to be inside, so let's bring this down. For this one, I'm going to bring it a little bit deeper. How about -0.2? Yeah, that'll be about right. So I'm going to check that. And also what I want to do is I want to bring these up. See how they're kind of coming in? So just bring them up. Just so they're nice and going straight in. I don't want them canting down like that. I want them to go straight in. Just a little touch, but I think it will add a lot. So now that these are extruded, I'm going to unhide all because I've made my shapes already. So what this is, this is going to be the shape for the grill. You see how it's, this is going to be how I do my Boolean imprint for the grill. This is going to go straight through, you'll see that. And I've also made this curve, and this is going to be what defines this. So what I'm going to do is actually detach this into a separate object, just because I don't want all of this stuff to cut into the outside of the nacelle. I want it just to cut into the swoop part. So I'm going to detach this. It doesn't matter. Again, the object, it's all going to be a part of this again. So just OK. Great. So what I can do is drag this into here, like so. Do my you know the drill, and that didn't work. Sometimes what happens when you perform a Boolean operation on a mesh that isn't complete, that is, it's not contiguous, sometimes the mesh itself will disappear. So to solve that problem, all I did was I detached this piece from this piece. Now it's no longer one big object, it's two separate objects. So I'm going to have to work on both of them separately. So I made two sets of blanks to use for carving. So no big deal, just a minor setback, but we're ready to move on. So once again, I need to make a macro for this, I guess. Imprint, and there we go. Now what I'm going to do is convert this to an editable poly. Select my polygons that I need. And then detach this again. Now I'll be able to work on these separately. I don't need to worry about this colliding with this, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So now I can bring this up to here. And turn this into a pro Boolean. And there we go. So now you see we've got these stripes for the grills going all the way here, and they stop neatly right here. So what I'm going to do now is select each opposite row of polygons and then extrude them further, and we'll get our grill nicely modeled. All right, so now with each of these polygons selected, tends to extrude. And let's see, -0.3. It's actually probably pretty good. I'm going to go with that for now. Great. And let me isolate this because I want to push these up again. Just be sure that everything is going straight and not canting down. That looks good enough for me. Let's see how that looks in the render engine. Very nice. Okay, so the only thing left to do is apply our material to that. There we go. That's looking nice. But there's still one step left to go, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. You see right here, this is kind of beveled in. It looks like it's going all the way around, more or less. So I want to recreate that on my model. So what I'm going to do is just select this. And just do a little bevel. This looks like it's actually going to require some cleanup, so I will be back after deleting all the necessary vertices, which is bound to be quite boring to watch, but I'm going to do that so I can get this bevel done. Okay, so I think I've gotten it as good as I'm going to get it. Deleting too many vertices will mean it will no longer meet this curve, and this little bevel detail really isn't worth all that much sacrifice, so I'm just going to do the best I can. Try it like this. We've got a positive value, and we've got a negative value in the... So we've got the positive height, we have the negative outline, which is what we want to get that shape. See if I can raise it up a bit more. If I bring it in a bit more, yeah, we start to get some real problems. Although it's really up here, I think I'll just be able to fix these vertices. Let's isolate this. Okay, so just a little bit of cosmetic work there, but this turned out really well. Very pleased with this. I'm going to end the video here because it's getting pretty long, and there's not much else to do, believe it or not, modeling-wise on this nacelle. There's just the back part, which I have set up already, which is going to be very much like this part in the front, and of course the greebles. But for now, this has turned out really nicely. I'm going to perform the same operation to the other side, and then this part of the nacelle will be done. So getting to the home stretch, this part's getting pretty exhausting, but I just got to push through it so I can get to the next stage of the model. So in the meantime, I hope you've been enjoying the videos, and thank you for watching, and I will see you soon.